Hello YouTube, part 2 of my mini-series. I won't call it anything, but it's a mini-series. So, well, we talked about the transport and stuff in the first video, of course. So if you did not see that, watch that first. And, well, in this video I was thinking to talk a little bit more about feeding, like what to feed and when to feed if you buy a new baby. So, sometimes people have in their mind like, oh, I want my snake to feed because then I know it's healthy and doing well, which makes sense, of course. But snakes are definitely made for not feeding for a long time. And also the chance of regurgitation is bigger if you feed too quick after stress. And I do stress like this because stress is not always the worst thing to have, of course. But moving around from maybe this box to a reptile show to your house, and the terrarium is maybe 2 degrees cooler or warmer or bigger or smaller or whatever. So it is always some form of stress, of course. So what I advise is at least for the first 5 days, but more easily just make it a week. Don't feed your snake. It sounds a bit boring. If you have a new snake, you maybe want to hold it and play with it and feed it and stuff. But the first week or so, sort of just leave it alone. So change water if needed, and if you see it crawling around, then check it out and stuff. But yeah, don't try to handle it too much and just let it settle in his new enclosure, basically. And then when you start feeding, also, well, don't feed too big. That's never a good idea. But with me, the baby snakes, they feed on pinkies as if they are like small hatchlings, of course. So I feed my snakes about once a week. Every 5 to 10 days is sort of okay, depending on the size. But once a week is easy for me. And it's mostly what I advise to people. Because then you can just say, oh, it is Saturday, I will feed my snake. That's easy. Otherwise, you have to say, oh, it's Saturday, I have to feed my snake. And then the next week, you have to do it on a Thursday. And then the next week, you have to do it on a Tuesday. And the next week on a Sunday. And so it's just easy for most people at least, to just say, okay, I will feed once a week. Well, the baby snakes, so if they maybe have eaten 3, 4, 5, 6 times, when I sell them to you, they will just eat a pinky mouse. So it's usually about 1 or 2 grams, that says on the label. I buy my pinkies, of course, in bulk because I have to feed many pinkies. So there are always smaller ones and bigger ones. So, of course, the older and bigger snakes get the bigger mice. So if you buy a baby snake from me and it really is just, like, say, 1 month out of the after the first shed and it had like 4 meals, then just buy about 10 pinkies, for instance. If you want to feed them frozen, just buy 10 pinkies. Feed 1 every week, start with the smallest pinky in the bag and feed the 10. After the 10 feedings, then he can probably go on to 1 size bigger, which is like 3 to 4 grams. It's not a fuzzy yet, but they call it either a specky or an XL pinky or something like that. So yeah, maybe if you have like 10 or 15 of them again, and you feed them every week, a bigger size, then basically your snake grows, and every time your snake grows, it gets a little bigger prey. So on average, or yeah, in ratio wise, it gets a good size prey. So yeah, that's something like, yeah, if you buy an older snake, let's say the ones that you saw in the first video, those are the oldest, and some of them can really easily handle a 3 to 4 gram pinky once a week already. But some that you will, yeah, that just hatched this week, they really need a small pinky, of course. But yeah, the size or the waiting time is most important for people who buy a new snake. So don't try to feed it too quick. Just let it settle in and feed it. Let's say you buy it at a reptile show on a Sunday. Just feed the next weekend. It can be a Saturday or Sunday, whatever you prefer. And if you say, yeah, but I always like to feed on Tuesday for some reason, then just wait the 9 days or something until it's the next Tuesday. So don't panic too much if your snake is not feeding the first time. Maybe it's still just settling in. So usually I say to people, well, try to feed it after a week. If it doesn't eat, don't stress, just leave it alone for another week and try again. If it then does not feed, then let me know, because then maybe we can talk about what is wrong, sort of. So maybe it's in a big terrarium and it doesn't feel safe, or maybe you take it out and it's really stressed to feed it in a small box. And so there are many reasons why a snake would not feed in the beginning. So if it feeds the first time, it's perfectly fine, or it's good, of course. If it doesn't feed the first time, don't stress. But if it doesn't feed for 2 times in a row, then always send me a message. Well, I hope that also cleared something like feeding up. So let's go to rec number 2 to look at some of the highlights there. And for rec number 2, well, we have some Aztecs, but well, I can also show you because they are nice, but I don't want to show you too many Aztecs in every video. I have 2 females, scalers, so this is female 1 and female number 2, which are 100% het Palmetto Caramel Hypo Motley. So they are from a Palmetto het Scalers to a Scalers Amber Motley pairing. So I have 2 females left. They are on the morph list, but they won't be sold single, but only with a male from like clutch 45 that you showed in, or well, I showed in video number 1. Yeah, with one of the Palmetto Hypo het Scalers males, because those are genetically a really good match. And yeah, I don't want to just sell all the females and be stuck with the males. But they will be quite expensive, of course. But we also have some cheaper stuff. For instance, this is clutch 83. This is just a Hypo het Enery. And it's from a Mimosa to Red Factor line, so it is actually quite nice. But yeah, so yeah, it's a 30 euro snake, I think, on the morph list. So one of the cheaper ones, but definitely not an ugly one. So if you don't really are into genetics per se, and you just want some nice snakes just to look at, then well, I also have those, of course. This is a female Hypo Tessera from the same clutch. And is it this one? Yeah, so for instance, this is just a ghost, but as a baby, yeah, there was not that much color on there, but he is getting some soft pinks. So the Mimosa and Red Factor just took a little longer to get out. But yeah, this won't be the most pink intense ghost, of course, compared to some other ones that I have. But yeah, still nice animals for not the highest prices. Oh, she is in shed, but even for a female, and yeah, you can see she's in shed and it's a female, but still you can see quite some color in there already. So clutch 83 is not expensive, but has some potential. But clutch 85 is basically sort of similar, but this one I like because it has such a funky pattern, like a really zigzaggy pattern. So this is a male snow zigzag. What else is fun? Well, everything is fun, but well, more hidden. If you like it a little darker, and also in shed. Everything is in shed today. This is also clutch 85 Ultramel Enery Tessera, but not the best because he's in full shed. Well, some more Scalers stuff. This is clutch 86 Scalers Caramel Motley. We have a male and the female. And in case you wonder, why is there a leaf with some and not with others? I put them in if they were in the beginning some more difficult feeders. So for instance, she took a frozen and then frozen, then alive because she did not eat frozen, but then frozen again. So she's not difficult now, but in the beginning, yeah, she did not want to eat every week. So I just give him a little leaf to hide under and stuff. A male Blizzard from clutch 87. This is mostly a live feeder, but a female Blizzard Tessera Motley Striped. Getting some size now. The Ultramel Charcoals, I still have some. I really like them. They are not too popular, but I like them, so that's most important. So this is Ultra or Ultramel Charcoal Tessera. Male or a female. And these are clutch 87, if I did not say it already. Or a female without the Tessera, but with Motley Striped. So Ultramel Charcoal Motley Striped. Then we have he was also small as a baby, but it's now a good feeder on frozen Scalers Amber Motley Pied-sided. Let's see if I can do this without a camera woman. But oh, look at all the white on the sides. So it actually is quite a cool pied-sided. This is a male Lavender Stripe from clutch 91. From clutch 92, I think this is the only one left. It's a female Hypo Butter Tessera. Let's check. She is Homo het Hypo and het Scalers Enery Motley. So she also has a lot of breeding potential if you want to make some Scalers combos. So you can make more butters, but also maybe ambers, or definitely ambers, and snows if you would want. And well, then we have some more Scalers female, the scaleless motley female. And number 2. But if you think, well, that's a little too boring, I want a little bit cooler pattern, then, well, go for a Tessera motley scaleless. That's also a female. Or if you want some different colors, then go for scaleless gold dust. This is a male. We also have a male gold dust motley scaleless. Hooah! I will have a seat again. Well, then we have some normals from Clutch 100. And the normals are het scaleless, castani, amel, enery and motley. So a lot going on. So we have, I think, what is it, 2.2 normals. There are also motley stripes. Genetically, motley stripe, look like motley, but with the same heads, of course. So they also had scaleless, castani, enery and amel. And some hypo in the clutch. So yeah, this is actually pretty cool. So you can make, yes, scaleless castani is not around that a lot. So yeah, imagine scaleless hypo castani, or with amelanistic, you will get the mandarin scaleless, of course. Clutch 102, some mimosa stuff. What is it? A male and 2 female mimosa ghost tesseras. This is a female. This is also a female with funky patterns. Oh yeah, Clutch 104. Of course, the one is open is in shed. There are some pied-sided ghosts. So this is a female, quite dark. This one is pretty light. Let's see. Usually the male. Well, this is way light. That's also a female. But well, also, well, not a lot. But what is it? 3 males and 5 females left or something. So if you want some pied-sided stuff, then get it while they're here. Clutch 106 is Ghost Mask. Just females left, but they had Palmetto and had pied-sided, I think, from the top of my head. Oh, and Motley. So if you want to make Palmetto Ghost combos, then oh, that makes it really grainy. Stupid new iPhone. Then those could be for you. Well, and Clutch 108. This is a male Ultramel striped, but they had scaleless enery hypo, and they come from a red factor line, so they can be quite colorful. For instance, also this orange striped. So yeah, if you want a scaleless project with a lot of color in there, then these might be the one for you. And who do we have here? Clutch 109. Well, in shed as well. Of going into shed, but that's a female hypo snow tessera from a mimosa to red factor line. What else do we have? These also pretty chill. Also Clutch 109, mimosa to red factor ultramel ghost tessera motley, but he's really soft colored and genetically pretty powerful, of course. And then from Clutch 111, that will be the last from this video, there's a bunch of scaleless amber motleys, both males and females. That's in shed. So let's end with that's also in shed. And that's also in shed. Well, let's end with this one. So this is Clutch 111. Also all feeding well. So ready for the Nijmegen show, Houten or Hamm.